Hello, Luminaries and Mysterians. It is now time for me to crack a joke. Because you know something, I'm either going to lose my mind or crack a joke. And I think I'll crack a joke. Now, it's a little Johnny joke. So, little Johnny jokes, as we know, are always a little off color. So, those of you who might be offended by slightly rude commentary, well, maybe you would like to tune off at this point. But I would have to say that the punchline's worth the wait, at least in my own opinion. Now, there's a fifth grade class, and they're sent home on a Friday with an assignment. The assignment is to get a story from their lives and find a moral to the story, bring it back to class. So, Monday morning rolls around, the entire class is there, and she asks, anybody have a story with a moral in it? Well, little Johnny puts his hand straight up. Teacher knows better than to call on Johnny first. So she looks around the room and keeps looking. She comes upon little Susie. And little Susie, she's got her hand timidly up. She says, Susie, what's a story from your life with a moral in it? She says, well, we're chicken farmers. And we farm chickens for the eggs. And one day, because Grandpa had to take me to the market with him, we had to put all the eggs in the center between us and the seat in a singular basket. And we were driving along, we hit a bump, and up the eggs went, and down the eggs went, and made a huge mess. Oh, well, what's the moral to your story? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Very good, very good. Teacher starts looking around. Johnny's still got his hand up. She sees Timothy. Little Timothy, what's your story? He says, well, we're chicken farmers too, but we farm chickens for the meat. And we had 36 eggs in the incubator one time, and only 22 hatch. Okay, well, what's the moral of that story? Don't count all your chickens before they hatch. Excellent, excellent. Well, these stories were so short, she knew she needed a filler, but the only other person in the room willing to have their hand up was Johnny. So she calls on Johnny. She says, Johnny, what's a story from your life that's got a moral to it? And says, well, teacher, I have an Uncle Bob, and he was in that war, and one day he had to jump out of a perfectly good aircraft. And he had his M16 in one hand and a half-gallon of Kentucky's Best in the other. Well, as it turns out, he realized that if he was going to land with one in each hand, something was going to break, and he didn't want to break that half-gallon of Kentucky Best, so he pulled the cork out, spit it out, drank that half-gallon down. Well, as he was drinking, he hadn't pulled his ripcords. He pulled it a little late, and he didn't land with the rest of his squad. He ended up landing in the middle of the enemy encampment. And so he took his M16 and he gunned down 10 men. And before he could reload it, he spun around like a war club and beat 4 men to death with it before it broke. And then he pulled out his K-bar and stabbed 3 men to death till it broke. And then he found the last man and choked him to death. The teacher is standing there, her jaw hanging wide open, not knowing what to say. She says, dear God, Johnny, what could be the moral of that story? Don't fuck with Uncle Bob when he's been drinking. Well, I hope you enjoyed the joke, and we will see in the commentary. If you did, there are other jokes that will be coming out. There's you can subscribe. Feel free to subscribe, because then all the things I'm doing, my vlogs, my Let's Plays, all those things will have some time in the sun. And until then, I hope you have an excellent day, and peace out.